screwworm has been found about 70 miles away from the U.S. Mexico border. We are joined now by Dr. Mark Ernst, an Illinois State veterinarian. Thanks so much for your time and thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start with, for people who may not be familiar, Dr. Ernst, what exactly is a screwworm and how does it affect both humans and animals?
Yeah, a screwworm is much like a regular fly larvae. The one significant thing about it is that those larvae feed on living tissue, as opposed to the larvae, say, from a housefly that feeds on dead tissue.
So how exactly do screwworms cause damage once they're able to infect a wound or an animal?
Yeah, well, typically what happens is the female screwworm can sense a wound, an open wound on an animal, and at that point, she'll come in and lay eggs down around the margins or the outside edges of the wound. And then within a few hours, those eggs will hatch. The larvae will begin to feed, and as they feed, they burrow into the living tissue of the wound. And they typically remain there for about 7 days or so. And during that time, they're destroying living tissue then before they finally drop out into the soil, form pupae, and then develop into adults.
And also, I just want to know just how serious can an untreated screwworm infection be in a human case?
Well, obviously, the longer that the wound would be infested with the larvae, the wound is going to obviously grow in size. There's always the possibility for infection from bacteria and other things. And so, it's best that if there is an open wound on an animal or on a human, that it's addressed in a rapid fashion.
Just how contagious are we talking here when it comes to screwworms and an infection? Can it be transferred from people to people? Is it only from animal to person or vice versa? How does that part work?
No, this is an infestation that occurs when the fly lands on the wound and lays its eggs. So it's not something that can be transferred person to person.
And we also know that the U.S. did have a case of this reported back in August. Just how rare is that, and what does it tell us about the future as well as the current risk?
Well, I think that case that was found in August was from an individual that had traveled into the United States from outside the country, and they actually entered the country with the larvae in place. The individual was treated, and actually there were traps and monitoring done in the area where the individual lived here in the United States, and there were no further detections found.
And you mentioned there's no further detection. So what things are being put in place to stop the spread of this from heading north?
Yeah, the United States was able to eradicate screwworm infestations in 1966. And actually, we were able to get that pushed back to an area south of Panama. And what's been used, and it currently still is used, is sterile flies are released to breed with these native female flies. The females will only mate once in their lifetime. And so if they mate with a sterile fly, then they no longer will produce viable eggs, and the larvae obviously will not hatch then. And that's been used for years to prevent the spread of screwworm.
What would you say are some of the warning signs if either a human or maybe somebody who has livestock, that their livestock has been infected with this?
Yeah, I think for owners of livestock, it's important to just know your livestock, inspect the livestock frequently. If they do have any wounds, inspect them for any type of larvae, and treat those wounds to try to prevent the infestation from either screwworm or from regular fly larvae.
Now, we're obviously a good ways away from the Mexico border. Just how concerned should pet owners or livestock owners here close to the Midwest be concerned as of right now?
No, I think our immediate concern would be with any animals that would be moving into the area or into the country from areas where screwworm is actively being found. You have to realize that we here in Illinois, we are a long way from the border. Another thing that we do have to our advantage is we've got our winter weather coming on. And of course, that's going to be a good deterrent for screwworm flies as well.
Dr. Ernst, I want to ask you, if this is found, what are the steps to stop it?
Yes, the USDA is already working on contingency plans to release sterile flies again to try to keep the spread from coming into the country. If it were to be found in the country, obviously those animals would be treated. We would have to do enhanced surveillance of our livestock population to try to help prevent the further spread if it were to be detected in a specific area.